or the other might have come in contact with him. That's one thing. Also, we might have learned one thing or the other from him. He's a Power BI developer. We met on LinkedIn, so that's one aspect of. I'm sharing a screen. Please, can someone confirm that uh, there's a screen being shared from our end? Okay, I'm using the other tool to actually do that, and it has the screen recorder has started recording. Okay, let me see. So a minute, let me just confirm that to us, please. A minute, please. Screen. Good. Uh, okay, I think it's up now, right? So this is our facilitator for today. Let me zoom my screen so that you have only his details. So his name is Francis Folaranmi. Like I said, he's a fabric analytics engineer, he's a data analyst, he's a Power BI developer. We met on LinkedIn. I think one of the monthly challenge organized by Enterprise DNA. That's how we actually came across each other. And since then, it's been very, very helpful. When you have connections that you cannot do without. If I have side gig, I will say, oh, bro, someone is looking for this opportunity. I know it's what you can do. Are you available? I just share with him, and from there we take it up. Please, let's develop our connections on LinkedIn. So he will be taking us through this section, and please, I want us to make best use of this time. Get the knowledge. You can also go back later, build your own portfolio, and make it active. So I will be confirming if he's already on the call. So please, let's make the next 1 hour as productive as possible. Thank you. That will be all from my end for now, Bukola. So let me quickly check if it's. Oga Francis, please confirm you are on the call with us so we can have you on board for the next 1 hour. Oh, great, great. Yes, I can hear you, my brother. I can hear you. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Wait, please, I can stop presenting from my end.
straight to today's presentation. I don't want to take too much of our time, and I will try and make us understand. Please come on, you can see my screen. I will try and make us understand why a portfolio website is very important. Can we also see my screen, please?
Yes, we can. Go
All right,
ahead.
thank you.
The screen is visible.
Okay, thank you. So, portfolio website is like people say on social media now that you go explain tire if there is no evidence. Your portfolio is the evidence of the work you have done. Your portfolio is what will show people the capacity you have. Without a portfolio, I probably will not take any conversation I'm having with you serious. Because that's one of the things that stand you out as a professional, as a data professional. Oh, wow, I just saw something now. Okay. As a data professional. So it's very easy for anybody to come up with CV, and even the CV you attend to not meet up to the requirements as far as a particular job description is concerned. But what people are actually interested in is what you can do, and the only way you can showcase what you can do is having a portfolio. Either you are a data professional or you are in any other tech field, you are expected to have a portfolio. And the idea behind portfolio is that recruiters want to be able to see what you have done, and then in the shortest time frame possible, they want to see what you have done, how you are thinking, and all of that. So it's a place where you sell yourself. So I'm going to give us two story before I actually uh, dig deep into what we are supposed to do today. One is about myself. Let me tell you about myself. Um, when I started, there are not a lot of resources like they are now. Resources keep increasing. In fact, the problem that we have nowadays is that there is overload of resources. There are not too many resources to come up with a portfolio. So, but I know that I needed to get one to be able to show people what I have done. So I came up with a portfolio, and just randomly on Twitter, somebody just put out that okay, he's looking for a data analyst. And we all know that getting our first role is always the most difficult. And I don't know this person from Adam that people should share their portfolio link to his DM. So I sent my portfolio link. Luckily, I was part of the few people he checked the portfolio, and he replied me. He said that my portfolio is very nice. That is going to that was when he now asked for my CV. He didn't ask for my CV first. He asked for my portfolio. So I was able to provide that. Then he said he was going to send my CV to the recruiter because it was a company he has worked before. And then he sent that my CV to them, and I went in for that interview. And like any other person, there is this anxiety that comes with interview. I had interview, but I didn't get the job. But this person was so convinced that he sent me to at least three interviews until I get a job. That's how important portfolio is. So, and coincidentally, the story is also around this same person. The story is also around this person. So he also messaged me sometimes around October last year that he needed to fill a role in his organization and he's looking for somebody. So maybe a month after, he called me again that he has not seen anybody. Then a week after, then a lady reached out to me that she needed to get a job. Then I told her that okay, where is her portfolio? She said she does not have. I told her that she should go and work on the portfolio. I sent her resources. I sent her everything she need to create a portfolio. But lo and behold, if I'm going to see her maybe tomorrow, I'm yet to see her. Then a week after, then I also saw another person that said he needed to fill two roles. But I know this person that if I approach him on behalf of this lady, the first thing he's going to ask me is that where is her portfolio? So portfolio is that important. And another thing that is always a limitation when you are trying to get a job is that they always want to see some bit of experience. At the end of the day, when I went to to the interview that got me my first role, they asked me that do I have experience? I said yes. but in reality it's a no. So but when I was saying yes, I had enough projects in my portfolio to be able to say yes. Even though typically in organizations there is NDA, that's non-disclosure agreement, but there is a way you can tweak your data set such that you conceal the important data or data privacy is still maintained. But the data I used then was the data I got from Itiba. And then another thing I used to do is that there are some recruiters that they will send you technical assessments. So even if you send me assessments and you don't pick me for the job, I'll probably end up using that your data set or the project that they have given to me to do a project that I'll put in my portfolio. So that way it's a win-win. Even though I didn't get the job, I have a unique project because there are a lot of data sets out there. The most popular being superstore data sets. I don't advise people to put that kind of project in their portfolio. It's what everybody can do. So as much as possible, try to do projects that are unique, that people will not find everywhere. Because what that means is that if you are doing a project that is almost available everywhere, it then means that you could have copied the insights, you could have copied the approach or the solution to that project. But a project that is not common shows your own creativity and your ingenuity to be able to solve problem. So that is just the quick background I want to give around making portfolios and how important it is. Your portfolio is your key to get your role. And then to get to a point in your career where your portfolio will no longer matter because that time you have built capacity, you've earned trust, you've shown experience, and then you just want to have an interaction with you. And then you let people know, okay, this is what I can do. So, but at the beginning of early stage of career, the portfolio is very important. A number of Power BI and to get portfolio, there are a number of options that are available. But recently, the options that I recommend for people is GitHub. There is Novi Pro for people to use. There is also you can also use your weeks to develop your portfolio. But most recently, I always tend around GitHub. So if you don't have an account on GitHub, you can just go to github.com github.com to create an account for yourself for the first time. And if you have an account already, you can just sign in and then you can follow through. Traditionally, GitHub is for developers. Can you still hear me, please?
Yes, yes, I can hear you from here.
Okay, thank you. So traditionally, GitHub is for developers, but uh, data professionals too also take use of GitHub. And to just explain GitHub, is just a version control system. And when we are talking about GitHub, I want you to see it like a computer. And that computer, you have your file explorer, and on your explorer you can have different folders. So that's the approach I want you to see GitHub with. So GitHub is just a file explorer where you keep things. On your file explorer you can keep your Word documents, your Excel file, your PowerPoints, your pictures, all manners of documents. So you can keep any of these documents on your GitHub. Now, I mentioned that GitHub is a version control system. What that means is that if you have a GitHub account where you have things stored, then you can have the version that you uploaded today. Let's say I uploaded a version today, then tomorrow I upload another version of the same file, then next tomorrow I upload another version, making three versions. Then maybe I want to revert back to that other version, then that is where it becomes version control. Maybe the latest version I'm working on is not a version that I'm comfortable with again. Or maybe there is some error and I want to go back to my previous version. Then GitHub gives you that capability. So once you go to your github.com, let me sign out and then the first time you're trying to sign in into your GitHub environment. Let me do this. Let me open another browser. So github.com. Let me just say GitHub sign in. So if I click on GitHub sign in, then I have this page where I will provide my email. Okay, I think I'm signing. Let me just sign out once and for all. Get on with it. So I have my email and I input my email. Is that you click on sign up. If you're a first timer, you You click on sign up, provide the email that you want to use, and then you complete your sign up process. Or if you want to sign in, so if you already have an account, just click on sign in, and then you sign in with either your email or a password, then you'll be in your GitHub environment. So the first time you open your GitHub, there is always a default repository. Again, take it like your repository is a folder. Your repository is a folder system. So a first your first GitHub will always come with a repository, and that repository is what holds this information. Like this your about section now, this about section that I have here. So a new repository, a new GitHub account rather, will come with this repository that you can use to create an about section and tell us who you are and what you are into and all of that. So this is how it's going to look, and then you can always set it up. So you can see that overview, you have this overview page, you have repository page, you have project, you have package, you have stars. But as a data professional, for now, we are going to be staying within just this overview page and also this repository page. And on this repository page, like I said, it's like a folder. It's like a folder. So it's this folder that you have that you now put every project that you are working on. So, like I said, there are a number of repositories there. For me, I have 26 repositories already. Some are private, some are public. Those that are public means that anybody on the internet can see it. If I send you the GitHub link, anybody can see those file or documents or all those version control that I'm trying to do. So when you create your GitHub for the first time, there is always this repository that is created with it. So this was the first time I created the GitHub environment. That was October 2022. So let me just click on it. So you have this repository for the first time you are creating on GitHub. So this is where you can now edit things that you want to have as your summary, as your about section. So you can edit it as much as possible. And then there is this edit button here that you can use to actually adjust it and put in things there the way you want. So that will show and that will populate your overview page. So let me go back to our overview page now. So on our overview page, if you are creating your GitHub for the first time, I don't expect you to have any other thing other than this about section. And then if you have when you now start creating things, then you see things that you have there. Then also there is also this profile section that you can also edit your profile, and then you can tell us who you are, your name, your bio section, the pronouns, and maybe you have link to your website or something or your social media, then you can save that and put it there. So that about the overview page. Now to get the real work done is creating a repository.
I can't hear you again. I don't know if others can. Okay.
Hello, can you still hear me now?
Yeah, just it's back now.
Okay, so this is where you can do your set up your profile the way you want. So now you go back to your overview page, and then to set up a portfolio project, you have to create a new repository every time you are doing that. Now there is this section here where you have like a profile picture. If you have a profile picture uploaded, you should see your profile picture here, or you just see like a icon of a man or a woman here. So you have this, you have all these things here. So some of the things that I have on the overview are also here. So that's just your profile too. Then you can add another account if you have multiple accounts. Then if you are using GitHub in your organization also, you can see your organizations here and all those things. So for every time you come into your GitHub environment and you want to put in a project, you want to document a project so that you can showcase it to a potential recruiter, what you have to do is that you have to create a new repository. So let me duplicate this tab so that I can always refer back to it and then use it as reference. So you always create a new repository. You see that I have 25 repositories here. So these are the repositories that I have, and I have it documented. So let me just showcase one of the repositories that I've created in the past. So let me show this logistics company repository. So this is what it's going to look like. So I have this link here. I have the name of the repository. Then I have the dashboard that I have prepared, and I have the link for that dashboard also. And so these are just screenshots of the dashboard. Then I have some documentation around it, the objective and also the deliverables. Then you can make this repository as comprehensive as you want, depending on how you want to do it. So let me show us another repository that shows a number of things. Then you can also upload things into your repository environment. Look at this repository for example now. Now another thing that is interesting with repository is that once you have a repository, the kind of language that you have in your repository will automatically show, or the language that is dominated in your repository. You look at this repository now, you can see your Jupyter notebook, which means you have Python code in this repository. You look at this one, you see I name this repository scripts. They are basically scripts. These ones, they are private repositories. So if you go to my GitHub account now, you are never going to see this because I want them to be private. They are scripts for an organization which I don't want to put on the public domain. So you can use it privately or you can use it publicly. So how you now specify if the repository is going to be a public repository or a private repository, I'm still going to get into that by the time we start doing this and so on. So for the sake of portfolio, all your repository must be public. So if you set it as private and you send that link to anybody, they're not going to be able to access that repository. So this is another repository here. So let me open this one up. So you see that we have also number of file, and then the files that you have in the repository to the the extension will be part of the file. This one now is an SQL file. That's why I have .sql. This one is a Python file. This one is also a Python file. That's why I have .python. And then you can see the languages. You can see that this repository now is 99% Jupyter Notebook, and then others is 0.9%. So this is how you can have a repository. So once you click on repository for the first time, you have all the files that you have in your repository, and then you have the documentation and all. So you see that I have a proper documentation for this repository, for example now. I have a brief description, I have a project architecture. So as the case may be, you can approach your GitHub portfolio or repository the way you want. And then how to add all these comments, how to add all this picture, I'm going to show us in just a moment. So now let's go back to our overview page and then we start building our repository. Are we together, please?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
We are.
Yes.
Yes. And
You are audible.
if I'm too fast, please let me know so that I can slow down.
A little bit fast, please.
I also want to be sure if this is recorded so that we can go over it again.
Definitely.
The session is being recorded.
Okay, let me proceed then.
All right.
So this is the overview of your repository. So to add a project to a repository, you can add as many as possible. There is this other icon here where you have create new. So you can always click this icon and then you can click on new repository, import repository, new code space, new gist, new organization or new project. So but for the sake of this session, the only thing you are interested in is a new repository. So let me take that again. You click on new and you click on new repository. So you have this interface where you specify the things that you want for your repository. So you can give your repository a name. Let's say you are working on maybe a sales project. So you can give it a name, sales project. I'm not sure you can actually put a space here, but let's find out. Yes, you can put a space, but automatically by the time it's written, you have this dash. So I'm calling this repository a sales project. So this repository name will be the name of your project that you want to showcase to your recruiter or your potential employer. And then you can give a description here. You can say that this repository is to describe this sales project. So it is very optional. And then I mentioned that every repository can either be public or it can be private. You see that by default it's on public. Anyone on the internet can see this repository. Again, repository is just a folder system on your computer. It's not something, forget all this jargon that you are saying. Just ignore it for now. This is where you now specify either you want it to be a private repository or you want to be a public repository. If you put on private, that's on you. Nobody's going to see it. Then, in our case now, what is applicable is a public repository. Then, another thing is that you must always add a README file. A README file is where you add all this documentation. Let me go to this other tab now so that you will see what a README file is. Excuse me, let me get water, please.
So Francis, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
You are audible, please.
Okay, thank you. So I have this folder opened here. So you have either a public or a private repository. Then I was talking about README file. Now it is important that you check this README file. And what is a README file? A README file is just you trying to describe your project in a more detailed environment. So on this repository that I've created in the past, for example, let me click on this. You notice that when I open it, there is a README file and it's also .md extension. It's always .md extension, and these are odd number of files that you have in your repository. So, and what that README file does is this. That is where you can put all this description, where you can put projects, where you can add link and all these things. So that's what a README file means. So if you are trying to create a new repository and then you don't initialize this repository with a README file, you won't be able to add all this nice description here. So it is important that you add a README file when you are creating your repository. So you click on a new repository, give your repository a name. You can describe it if you want, specify if it's public or private. In our case, we are doing a public repository. Then you add a README file. Then you click on create repository, and that will create your repository for you. So it's that simple. So this is a new repository, and you can see that it is blank, and you can see also the name of the repository as part of the README file. So there are a number of things that you can do in your repository. You can add files to your repository. Is either you create a new file or you can add upload file from your local computer. Anyone works. You can add file from your local computer, or you can create a new file. So let's say we are working on this sales project, for example, now, and then I want to document it. How do I proceed? What I need to do is that I need to add all the file. If there is any file I need to, or I can just paste uh, or upload the file, or create a new file. So if I want to create a new file, I can click create new. For example, let's say this project now, I developed some SQL scripts that I'm going to be using on my dashboard. So I'll click new, and then I'll just type the file, and then I'll click on commit. So what commit means is that you are saving your file. You are saving your file. So before you can commit the file that you want to commit, you need to give your file a name. So let's just call it test1. So then I can click on commit. So when you click on commit, then you have this interface where you are going to be prompted to add a commit message. That commit message is to keep track of things. Again, GitHub is a version control. So what you mean is that we are committing now does not mean that after now we are still going to commit later. Let me say it in a simpler English. I am saving this file now that it is blank. Now, I may want to save it another time. So, but I want to be able to know the difference between what I save now and what I'm going to save the next time. That's why you have to add this commit message. So this commit message is saying that I'm creating this file. So let me say I'm creating test1, which is the file. Then I can click on commit. Now, don't worry yourself, just keep it on default, because using GitHub or version control is something entirely different that is beyond the scope of what we are doing now. So just keep it on commit directly to a main branch. Then you click on commit. So that is it. So you now have this place where you have the history of everything that you are doing. So you can always come back to your overview page by clicking this. And then when you click the overview page, you now see that the number of repository that you have is now 26. Before I created that was 25. So I'm going to create another repository again just to demonstrate something on this overview page. So I'll click a new repository again, a new repository. And once I click on new repository, always I'll call it sales 2. Then once I call it sales 2, I won't describe anything, I'll leave it as public. Then I must add my README file. So once I add my README file, then I can click on create. So my repository has also been created. So I can always go back to my overview page. And then once I'm on my overview page, you can see that on this overview page, we have limited number of repositories. Now you see that it's now 27. But it is important that you also optimize your GitHub account. Because once anybody that lands on your GitHub account to be able to see the project that you are most proud of, project that you know that wake me up anytime, that you can beat your chest to that, okay, this project is good. So how do you set up this interface like this? Even though I have 27 repositories created, I'm just showing 6. I'm just showing 6. So there is a way you can optimize your overview page or your landing page to show the projects that you want. So you can click on customize your pin. So if I click on customize pin now, then I have all the repositories that I've ever created listed here. Then you can pick all the ones that you want to show on your overview page. So all you have to do is just to check and uncheck. Since I've already checked 6, then I can't check any other one again. All these ones now, they are now available for me to check. They are no longer grayed out. But once I check the maximum of 6, then I just have to customize and then click on that edit pin, and then that will be it. So once I do that, then I can close that, and then I have my pin optimized. So then I can also scroll down actually on this overview page where you can see all your contributions on your GitHub environment. These are my contribution 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021. So this is just to show you the intensity of how you are using your GitHub. It depends on your role really. If you use your GitHub all the time, you will see this place populated in green. So but that's just for your personal consumption. So you can always see your repository too all at once. You can see them all at once by coming to this repository tab. So once you come to your repository tab, then you can see all the repositories listed all at once. So you can scroll down and see as many repository as possible. And also you can always delete your repository. So let's delete this one for example. Now deleting a repository is very sensitive because you might be having a production code in your repository, and then to delete it is something that nobody wants to joke with, especially on a real job scenario. So the process is a bit you won't just click on delete and then it's deleted. So you have to come to your settings tab. Now again, for the scope of this session is not covering all these issue, pull request action. So just forget about all these ones. And then even on that setting that I'm going to now to delete a repository, just focus on how to delete a repository because version control is another big area entirely. So you come to your setting right here. So once you come to your setting, you can see your repository name. So if you want to change the name of your repository, you can do that here. Then you can just scroll down, and once you scroll down to the last part of the settings area, then you can see your danger zone. So which means that things that you are you are doing here, they are actually dangerous. See, it's already in red. You are getting all the warnings that you can imagine. So I can delete my repository by clicking delete this repository. Then it's asking me again, even if you are sleeping or maybe you are under the influence of alcohol or whatever thing you may be doing, it's going to keep asking you that are you sure you want to delete your repository? You can imagine somebody deleting the biodata of everybody in Access Bank or in GT Bank. So, no company wants to mess with that, or a code base for a project that is already in production. So I can always click on I want to do this repository. Okay, fine. I already click on that, but it's still asking me, have you read that once you delete this thing permanently, you'll be able to recover it back? Yes, I have read and understood this effect. Assuming you are still drunk, it's still going to ask you to type the name of a repository. At least by the time you are doing this, whatever you are doing, you think twice before you proceed and delete a production repository and create problem for people. So in this case now, I still have to type the name of the repository. So, but not only the name, you're also going to type the name of your GitHub account, which in my case now is Don Francis 1 slash sales 2. Now, if this name is not correct, then this repository is always going to be grayed out. So I miss one here, so I'll add one. That is when I can now delete my repository. So I will click on delete repository. So then my repository will be deleted. My repository will be deleted. So and that's that. So I'll read the other one here. So let me just close this. Then I can reload my page. Then the number of repository will now become 26 as against 27. Are you following, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, so now we have created our repository and it is blank. Then we now have to put our project there. So I will just use a sample SQL code, for example, to create this repository. So assuming that there are a number of things you can do as a data analyst. You can work on a project that involves SQL and Power BI. You can use a project that involves SQL, Power BI, Python. You can do a project that involves just Power BI alone or even Excel. You can work with anything and all of them can be documented on your GitHub. So let's say you want to upload the file or the Excel file or the data sets, you can always come here and click on add file. Then I can click on upload file or click on new file. So I can click upload file, for example. So once I click on upload
Okay.
file, then I can choose file, and then that will open up my local computer for me. It will open up my local computer for me. So let's say I want to upload this text file, and I can click on open. Then again, commit is like you are trying to save something. Just you always press Ctrl S. That's what it does. Then you can add a message to commit whatever you are doing. So you can click on commit, which is also optional. Then I click on commit changes. So that will upload the file, and then the speed of the upload depends on the size of the. So now we have 3 files in our repository: the date file that I uploaded, the README file that I specified when I was creating my GitHub, and then the new text1 file that I created. Now you see this file also. Is either you upload or you create. So let me go back to my sales project, which is the repository I created itself. I have uploaded a file, then I can always click this, then I can create a new file. Now, where it becomes interesting is that you can use your GitHub to hold any kind of file, your CSV file, your Python file, your SQL script, and all of that. So, for example, now, if I click on this test file that I created earlier, if I click on it now, I can specify that I want to maybe rename this file. I can rename it, for example, let me click here. No, let me just create a new file so I'm not getting some messed up for us. So, new SQL, okay, sorry, repository, and then says repository. Now you can see that it's already public. Then I can click on add file. Then I can click on create a new file. Say the file I want to populate here is an SQL file. I can always come here and call it F1. Then if it's an SQL, then I add an .SQL extension to it. Then I can just commit change. But before that, I can then maybe get a sample SQL script that I will paste here. Let me see if I can get any SQL script here. Okay, there is one SQL script here that I can use. So let's say so this is an SQL script, for example. I will copy Ctrl C. and I'll go back to this other tab where I'm working. So let me just go back to this sales project because I want to quickly demonstrate something. So yes, I'll leave it on change. So this is the text file that I created the first time. So if I click on it, then I'll paste this SQL script that I just copied here. So I'll click on edit. So this will edit this file for me. Then I'll do Control V. You see that it's just looking like any random file, and then I can click on commit changes. Then I can add my commit message here. I can say that okay, I populated this file. Then I click on commit changes. So once I click on commit changes, then I have my file here. So I can always go back to my sales projects, that's the repository. So you see this is the file, and if I click on this file now, I can always preview the text that I have written. Then I can always go back to it. But what I want to do now is that I want to show us that you can use your GitHub environment to host any kind of file. Because I didn't specify the kind of file that I created, that is why it's like this. Even though within yourself you know that it's an SQL script, but it gets interesting when you click on add file here, and then let's call it F1, and then I call it .sql extension .sql. Then I paste the SQL script also here. Then you see that when I specify it as .sql, then you can see all the SQL syntax in a different color. So I can click on commit change. So I can always add a commit message if I want. I can describe it in a more intuitive manner, or I can just click on commit change. So I now have F1 file in my repository. So the file that I uploaded, the default README file, and also the file that I created without specifying the type of extension it is. And here I also have the SQL file. So here we can see that okay, this is an SQL file, and then it becomes more readable. Now, another thing I want to quickly show us is the history of this file. So let's come here, for example, on this test file 1. Then here you can see that I worked on this thing 5 minutes ago. Then I can click on history and see the various versions of this file, or how I've been working on this file as time progresses. So the first thing I did was I created this file, which was 60 minutes ago. You can always click on it and go back to where you were. But in this case now, you see that it is blank. So let me just go back, and then I populated this file. So you see what I populated it with, which is this, and this is the previous version, which was blank. It was only F that was on this file, and this is what I populated it with. So you can always revert back, and that's why it becomes interesting, be it your SQL code or your Python code or any manner of code that you're writing at all. You can have it here. So that's what your history does for you. So let me just go back to my repository again. So I have my SQL file uploaded. So let's say I take out, it's not trying to get my attention. Hello, are we together?
Yeah, yeah, can hear you.
I think someone was trying to. Okay, let me proceed.
As someone who asks a question, if you can add a background. I don't understand what she means.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said someone was trying to ask a question. She said, can you add a background?
Background, okay, to the GitHub repository. Yes, we are going to get there. I'm just trying to take it gradually. So let me continue. So now, for example, now let's say this part of SQL, I take out this. I take this part out. Let me click on edit first before I can do that. So once I click on edit, then I take this out, and then I commit this again, which means I'm trying to save it. So the commit message here is going to be I adjusted my script. Then I click on commit. So once I do that, this now becomes the latest version of my SQL file. But you know that in real world, you are not going to have just 12 lines of code. You are going to have a bunch of them. And let's say you are now on the latest version and you are lost, you are confused yourself, then you want to go back to where you were coming from. Then you can click on history here, and then you can now see the GitHub, comment I added. Then you can click on it, and then you'll be able to see how the code that you adjusted, and then the old one, the new one, and the old one. So this is the old one, this is the part that we remove, and it's just highlighted that straight for us, and then you can always copy that and adjust it accordingly. So that's what your GitHub does for you. So if you create a new file also, or you add a file, you can add .py or .ipnb if it's a Python code. Now where it gets interesting is this readme file, and this is where I'm going to address where you can add your background. Now I don't know what this person that is asking if I can add the background is expecting, but GitHub is not uh, a fanciful website, and I prefer to use GitHub nowadays because it gives you the ability to be able to track your your project, to track changes in versions of your project. However, what you can do is this that I've done for this other project, for this other repository that I created. You can add pictures that you want for yourself. But adding a background, no, you can't add background, but you can add any picture whatsoever to your GitHub. So these are the things that you can do. So to do this now, let's say we are doing this GitHub project. So I will click on this one, for example, then I will edit it. I'm editing the README file, but this one that I want to do, you can see that this is the README file where I have updated this thing with what I have. But I think I need to duplicate. Let me go back and duplicate this. So I'm duplicating my tab now. Now I will try and edit this one. So this is your README file. You can always preview it anyway and see how it looks like, but you can go back to your edit. So you see where you type all the description, your project description, and all of that into your README file. Again, when you are creating your GitHub, you are expected to to specify you want to add a README file. That's when you can now add this. So when you put up all this typing, all your text in whatever manner you want to put it, then it then becomes like this, where you have it saved. So back to the one that we are working with. This is the GitHub README file that we created. So I can always click on edit right here. So once I do that, then I can say start to describe my profile or my project rather. So let me take out this description. Let me just leave it. Uh, Let me just say this is an analytic. This is an analytic project. So this is where you describe your project, say everything that you want to say about your project. Say for example now, I want to put a picture of this, let me see. Let's say I want to put a picture of this dashboard, for example. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So I can quickly take a screenshot of this. I click on sniping to, then I take a screenshot, whatever way you want to do it. Then I can click this. I just take a screenshot. Then wherever you have your screenshot saved, you can just do Control C, and then you go back to your GitHub environment. Then within your README, this is your GitHub environment where you are editing, and then the position where you want that picture to be, you can always click on enter to go to another line, and then you press Control V. So that will automatically put that project in your repository. So if I click on preview now, then you can see that picture being rendered. So that is how you can add picture into your GitHub repository. Are we together? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so that's how you can add your picture to your repository. But in our case now, you are not just putting any text. You want to make sure that your repository is as descriptive as possible. So let me get a sample GitHub repository where I actually did an explicit description of the project I was working on. So let me say, let me check this one for example. So this is it now. So in this case now, I can always type whatever is here and put it in my repository. Let me copy this guy, Control C. So I come to my GitHub environment, I type this. So, but this one now, I describe this project. I said that the objective is to understand the audience better and have a further strategy to drive more channel engagement. Then I added a picture. Now, like I said, a GitHub is to sell yourself. Now, before the person even go further to see what is inside the repository, mere seeing a screenshot of whatever thing you are trying to do gives them the impression that, okay, I think it's going to be an interesting read. And whatever you are documenting should be as short as possible. You are not the only person that is trying to get that job. A lot of people are trying to get it also. So seeing the picture of your dashboard alone becomes interesting. If it were it were to be your code, for example, you are going to see it right here. Like I was showing us earlier, you can just click it and then they can see your code also. Say this dashboard now, I had used a SQL script on the back end. Then I'm seeing the code up here, then I'm seeing the documentation in our README. So I can scroll down, I added a few pictures, then I talk about the deliverable. This is not as comprehensive as I would love it to be. Let me look for another one. Let me come to my repository. Then let me come on this eDNA call center. So in this case now, I added a link to my dashboard itself. So I give it a name. Now this is the brief. So this is what I expect really. So this is the brief or the business problem. So you document this, you type everything that you need to type, then this is the process and the technique, the tools that you use, then the deliverables. Let's check another one. Let's check another one. I think this one should be more comprehensive. We have this Palmyra project. Yes. So this Palmyra project now, I had uploaded Excel file, I already uploaded PDF, I uploaded CSV file, and this is the dashboard, the problem. I described the problem, I gave the task, I described the process of doing this, the tools that I used, then the techniques. I did data extraction, data cleaning. Then the deliverable is to the gender distribution in the organization, the state to region, and blah blah blah. And then I have the link. Then when I click this link, then it opens up another tab for me where you can interactively where you can interact with your dashboard, where you can interact with your dashboard. So where you can interact with your dashboard and then the recruiter can see the dashboard, play around with it, see what is possible, uh, and all of that. Because beyond having just a screenshot, they want to be able to see what is also present in your dashboard. So this way, you'll be able to document your SQL script. You're also going to be able to document your Power BI project. You are going to document your Python project, and then when you are done preparing your GitHub, for example, let's say I had built this one from scratch and I want to send it to a recruiter. All I have to do is just copy this URL link and send to the recruiter. But what I always advise is that you send it from the overview page. So when you are sending to a recruiter, this is what I'm going to send to the recruiter as my portfolio. So if I copy this now and drop it in the chat, anybody that is coming here, sorry, anybody that is coming here is going to land on your overview page. They will see all the projects that you have done. They can navigate to your repository and see anything that you want to have in your portfolio. So again, I have shown us how to put your picture, just put the picture, go to the line that you want, and then you type. So this your README file is just like your Word document where you can type and do whatever you want to. But where it becomes interesting is this. If you look at the preview version of it, you realize that some headings are bigger than the other. So how you can achieve that is when you are in your edit interface, you see that the name of the project itself, you have a what's this sign now? Is not aesthetic. Is it hash? So you have a hash sign. Then here you have two of it. Then I think somewhere here you have three of it. So let me just demonstrate that for us in our own. So let's say I have this project now, this analytic project. So I can add two of it, then I have a space, then I can preview so that I can see how it's going to look. You can see that the sales project is the bigger one, then this one is smaller. I can go back to edit, then on this after this picture line on my line 6, I can also add data. Then in front of it, I can always add this hash, maybe 3 times now, depending on how you want it to be structured. And I have a preview also. So you can see that, yes, what I have here without the asterisk is not bold and is not big. So that's how you can section various parts of your README file, and then that will be it. And then you have a properly structured documentation of your repository, and you can always present that to any recruiter that you want. Um, Thank you. I think that will be all.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Francis. Thank you. That was really insightful. And I believe everyone has learned one or two things. Thank you so much. We are grateful. So here's the point, the place or the moment where we give room for questions. If you have any questions, kindly raise your hand and then we can attend to your questions.
Tolulope's hand is up.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Please go ahead, Tolulope.
Good evening. I think I have, thank you very much, Mr. Francis. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I wanted to ask the commit comment, is that it? Is it only visible to me or to everyone that visits the page?
No, it's just you. You are the only one that have that access. So I just drop my own GitHub link. If that is the case, that means I can go to your GitHub and then I delete your project before you send it to a recruiter. But your
Oh,
village people can do that. So it's just you.
okay. I get it. Then my second question, if I copy a picture, for example, I'm going
Yes.
to place it. I'm going to place it under the README file, right?
Yes. You
But
can.
but it's not going to show until I click on preview.
Yes, it's not going to show. And that view is just your own view. By the time you
Okay.
are sending it to your recruiter, they are going to see it.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I just drop the link to my own repository, for example. You can click on it and interact with it. I think that will answer most of the questions that you asked.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Oyinye, you can ask your questions now.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Francis. Um, so my question, I'm not sure is very related to the GitHub class rather. Sorry, but sorry, baby. I just wanted to ask is there like a website where one could get raw data for one to be able to build several projects and then put it up on GitHub?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then, okay, please, is it possible you share that with us, with me, please?
Yeah, I'm dropping some of them in the chat session.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
can you?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Francis. So my question to was you talk about Power BI, Excel, and SQL, Python. Is it applicable to Tableau too? You know, we are using like for me, I'm using Tableau public. Like, can I also update my project on
Yes,
Excel with
yes,
Tableau?
yes, you can. I think I missed that. Let me quickly show. Let me show that to us.
Okay, thank you.
So let me share my screen now. Now, say you have your projects, you are done with your projects in whatever software you are using, if it's a visualization project. In case of Excel, you cannot publish it to anywhere anyway. But Power BI and Tableau, you can publish it to your Tableau, you can publish your Tableau public. Power BI, you can publish it to your Power BI service. And you can always get the public link to your project. And that public link within your readme file, within your readme file, you can add it. So let's say I'm editing this readme file, for example, now, and I want to add maybe my Tableau link or my project link. If you notice, I think this repository that I created, there is a link on it. For example, there is a link on this repository. Okay. Let me use this one for example. There is a link on this repository. If it were your GitHub, your Tableau link or your Power BI link, you can always get it. You edit on your README, you get the link, and then you paste it. I can even paste the link of, let's say, uh, any website or any link at all. Let me get one here. Let me see. Let me get this one. Even your LinkedIn link, any link whatsoever, you can put it in here. Let me use. So let's say I want to use my LinkedIn link, for example. I can just copy this. Then I can go to my GitHub where I'm doing the cooking. Then I can add this link here as just a simple text. I do Control V, then I commit. So once I click on that and then I come to my preview, then you see it as a link that anybody can click on. So if it's your Tableau link, if it's your Power BI report link, you can always add it to your README file. You can add them to your README file. Yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you. So, do we have any other questions? Okay, Adegoke, go ahead, please.
Yeah, good day. Thank you, Mr. Francis. Yeah, I have a question as regards the README that will be on your own on the profile of the user and at the start. So I don't know if I'm missing out something. Mine seems not to have it. I don't know maybe if there's any way you could explain. I don't know if maybe I have an
Can any,
account.
can anybody help me answer him? Can anybody help me answer Mr. Adegoke?
I think we have to create a new repository first before you can get to click on add the readme file or something. If I'm right.
Okay, thank you, Tolulope. Yes, like Tolulope mentioned, you have to create your repository first, and I did emphasize that when I was doing my presentation. Maybe you didn't join early enough. When you are creating a new repository, there is a part that you have to specify if you want to add a README. So on that part, you just check it, you just mark it, and then that will give you the ability to add README file
No,
to your
what I'm saying
repository.
is on your overview. No, there was a README on your overview. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the README on any repository we're creating. On the overview,
Okay, the
as
default
it shows here,
readme from the
yes, the
overview.
README on the overview. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's strange. Let me see. Hold on. When did you create your account? When did you create your GitHub account?
I think 2021 or something. Let me check.
So it's possible that when you were creating it, um, you didn't specify a README. But what I remember is once you create your GitHub for the first time, you always have this README file that you do your overview for you.
Okay. So for this a case now. So what do you think we can do to now make
I think
such
you may have to create another GitHub account where you now have that repository added as part of the
added?
overview.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay, confidence, right? Yes, please can go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Mr. Francis. Please, I don't know. Could you please help me go through the very essence of the commit? I thought I got it, but when you answered the first person that asked the question, that the recruiter or whoever you share your repository link with would not be able to see it. So I think I don't quite get what the essence is anymore. I don't know if you could just help me go through like the very essence of the commit.
Okay. So commit simply is just you are saving your file. If you have any file, Word document, Excel, if you make any changes to that file and you didn't see it, you didn't save it, then your changes will not be retrievable. So what you are doing when you are committing, you are essentially saving any changes that you have made to your to your repository or to your README file. And I mentioned that when you are saving, for example, now when you know that when you are saving on your Word document, you are not able to add the description of what you are saving. For example, let's say I have a Word document where I have my bio data, I added my name, my age, my Insta status, location, home address, and all those things. Then I'll just press my Control S, and that file is saved for me. So maybe I go back to that file the next time. Then maybe I added another thing, like maybe my NIN, my BBN. So at that point, when I'm pressing Control S, then I have to add that description that okay, I added NIN and BBN to this file. And that commit message, when you are trying to commit anything at all on your repository, is optional. But best practice requires that you add that commit message so that when you want to trace things, it becomes easy for you. That's just the essence. I hope I'm able to answer that question.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I'm not sure we have any other questions. Um, Tosin, I guess this is where we call it the day, right? Hello, Tosin.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I still see one hand is up, like about two hands. I don't know if they still have any question. Please, you can call them.
Um, Long D. Who is Long D? Hello.
Hello, hello,
Yes, we can hear
hello.
you. Do you have any questions?
Honestly, I joined late, so I'm just trying to catch up. I don't really have any question.
Okay, because your hand is up. That's why we had to call you.
Really, sorry, I think it's a mistake.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, our facilitator. Thank you so much for bringing so much insight into GitHub. Thank you.
Bukola,
Um,
please, I have something for Mr. Francis.
all right, fine.
Mr. Francis, please, what will be your advice for everyone as data analyst, finance analyst, whatever field of analyst we find ourselves based on your journey so far? I think that will help us. Thank you. Baga, where are you? Mr.
He's
Francis, so
muted. I'm not sure.
you still on the call.
He's
Yes,
still on the call. Yeah.
I didn't get that. What do you say, please? I lost network for a second.
I said yes, your advice for everyone in our various field of analytics that we might have found ourselves based on your journey and your experience thus far.
Oh well, my first advice is have a portfolio. If you don't have a portfolio, I'm not convinced you know anything. And then, secondly, on a very serious note, you should actually have a portfolio. You can't just be sending CVs. A serious recruiter will not ask for your CV. They want to see what you have done, especially if you are an entry level trying to get your first job. When you have gotten your first job, then that's when your CV now becomes enough. And then you talk people through the project you are able to do on your previous job. Then secondly, consistency is key. You have to be very consistent in whatever you are doing. You don't know when opportunity will come. Let it not be that, oh, it's when the opportunity comes that you now start to prepare for it. Let preparedness meet opportunity. And that's when people say, ah, oh, this person is lucky. But because you have a portfolio, you won't be you won't be starting to try to put up a portfolio when the opportunity comes. Say Tosin have a role that he wants to fill now. I don't have a portfolio. Then there is Bukola that has a portfolio. Why Bukola will just send Tosin his portfolio, and Tosin would have probably gone through that portfolio and made up his mind. Then me, I'm just trying to put up a quick portfolio. Before I even sent it, you will not even check it because you are seeing Bukola's portfolio. Even if your own is better. So let's uh, meet opportunity with preparedness, and then also whatever you are doing as a data professional, have a very laser focused uh, that's the technology. Have a laser focus really. Don't be distracted with what is going on. Know what you want and stick to it. Don't try and be all over the place. Don't learn every tool. Learn what you want to learn part time. Yes, Onye is learning Tableau. We are learning Power BI. It is fine. Make sure that you know your Power BI very well, and then when you are ready, you can learn your Tableau. Tosin is learning SQL. Let him learn the SQL. Have your own roadmap who you want to become. There are a lot of roles within the data space, data analyst, data engineer, data scientist. Know what you want to become so that you learn the corresponding tools to whatever you want to become. And also, you are never going to stop learning. You will always learn. Even with the tools that you are familiar with, there is always an upgrade, there's always a new feature that will change your work dramatically. So let us have it at the back of our mind that we are going to be a lifelong learner. And then lastly, take relationship serious, connect with people, attend professional events. When people say that there is a role, trust me, there is somebody somewhere on that job that has somebody that they want to hold by their hand. While you are sending your own application, trusting that God will do it. Yes, God does it, but when there is somebody on the inside that is helping you, uh, it's always different from somebody that is just applying, trusting on God. And where you have to stand out is when your portfolio is unique. Don't put superstore data on your portfolio. Don't put what everybody is doing on your portfolio. Try and create something unique. If you are working with Adventure Works data sets, you can always tweak it. and make it unique. You can create things that are unique for yourself. In anything you are doing, try and make sure that you want to stand out. We are not trying to be the best. We are just trying to beat your own best. I think those are things that have helped me, and I think that's the advice I would give to anybody in data space.
Thank you so much, my brother. Sincerely, it's been an insightful session, and we don't even want it to end. But I believe a lot of us, by the time we actually go through the recording, we'll be able to come up with our own portfolio or refine the one that we have already. For someone like myself, I need to refine the one I've built already. And I sincerely want to appreciate everybody, both the community member, the non-community members, for taking our time to join this session. So we scheduled 2 hours, and I thank God we are still within 1 hour 30 minutes of our time, which I believe that has been a productive one for us. We will be looking forward to also see you in our next session on SQL. I know, thank God, all of us are analysts, professionals at various levels. But I believe that in every meeting like this, there's one new thing that we want to learn. Like we say, learn, unlearn, relearn. We want to add knowledge to ourselves. So that will be all from my end. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Let's make use of the resources available to us to learn. Mr. Francis has shared his YouTube page for those of us that want to start learning the Microsoft Fabric for 1,000 yard fabric members. Will come there and begin to pick it in series. Thank God it's in series, and gradually we add more knowledge to
Can we
ourselves.
get his LinkedIn page also? Just
The LinkedIn page, okay, don't worry, I'll share that. I'll share that as well with us. Okay, Esther, over to you. Over
all
to
right,
you.
first thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. You've done most of the job already. Thank you, Tosin, and thank you, Mr. Francis, once again. Thank you. It's so amazing and so glad for us to have you on our community, Everything on Data community. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. Because in our last community meetup, someone was saying the only way you can actually learn is by teaching what you know. The more you keep teaching it, the more you keep knowing it, and it becomes part of you already. So for you to come around to for us to learn from you or for you to impact us is another opportunity again for you to actually get used to what you are teaching. So it's not left to us who you've impacted for us to now follow the step of what you've been able to put us through and to be able to come up with something that we've actually learned today. So we really appreciate you, Mr. Francis, on behalf of the Everything on Data team, the community members, and our founder also, we want to say a very big thank you for coming around and for honoring our invite to come to the community to impact us also. Thank you very much. And to everyone who has taken time to join today's session, as Tosin has said, really appreciate from both the community members and the non-community members. That this is a way at which we can actually re-equip ourselves and learn something new. If we keep waiting for when we want to make payments, there are so many trainings that we might bring. Some of these trainings might be something that you might find later and see, you have to make payments for you to learn this, but we are bringing it for free to the community. So this is just for us to encourage everyone that whatever training is coming, we know it's for free, so we should not take it for granted. So we don't wait till the time we now start saying that you have to pay to actually learn this. I start regretting why didn't I learn it when it was free then. So this is just for us to say thank you for joining. Thank you for your time, for taking out time, and we hope to see you more and more in our coming up sessions also. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. God Francis, thank you. We appreciate your time.